Today I'm building units for the back of the van, and I have been doing this actually for the last couple of weeks since my last video. I'm building a unit to hold some books for my water container, and also in the corner of the van a unit for storing clothes and all my electrical gadgets. That's the ceiling finally insulated. So it's got self-adhesive padded foam stuck to the actual outer skin of the van. Then there's an inch of like recycled bottle insulation, and then there's this taped and pocketed all round, so it's not completely airtight, but it's as good as you're gonna get. And then I'm gonna put, for the time being, I'm gonna put the normal headlining back up. I won't be cladding until I've decided what compromise I'm going to do between solar panels on the roof and having a skylight. Do I want one solar panel and a skylight, or do I want two solar panels and no skylight? So until I really know what I want, and I won't be able to do that until I've tested the van and see my power needs, etc. So I'm just going to put the normal headlining back up and leave the cladding for later. The only thing connected is the display unit we're looking at, and a few cables that run to things that are off. So somewhere along the line it's saying it's taken 0.1 of an amp, but then it can also be sending power across to the starter battery, so it's virtually nothing. So let's have a look what happens when I turn the inverter on. Okay, so that little 300 watt pure sine wave inverter in red next to it is on. So it's jumped to 0.5 of an amp now. That's my battery saying about 50%, so they need to be put on charge in a moment. Now with the telly, the Fire Stick, the Wi-Fi was already connected, but they use this tiny little bit of power. So now with all them, the telly's playing away now. So we're up to 2.1 amps. And the sound's off because I've turned the main sound switch off. So let's get that on, let's get some sound on, which will turn the hi-fi on, and I use the speakers up here through the cable to give me some sound. Okay, so the speakers are playing, the stereo's playing, the TV's playing, the Fire Stick's playing, Wi-Fi is on. Let's have a look what power I'm using. There we go, 2.7 amps. It's fairly quiet, that, considering it's not covered by anything, that inverter. Okay, so there's just a little test of what my system uses. I'm using a mains voltage TV through an inverter. So there's the setup. You don't need to have the stereo on for the extra 0.6 of an amp. For certain TV programs and YouTube videos, you don't really need it on. But if you're going to be watching Netflix movies, decent TV programs, then yeah, I'm going to put it on and enjoy the sound effects that those extra speakers through the hi-fi will give me. Now, in my last video, I received a couple of useful comments suggesting use of magnets. I didn't think of using magnets. I want to put something just to fill these. I might just use some sort of blanking cap. Maybe just cut a screw off and glue them in place with the old seats in there. But what I've done so far, and it's not very good, is I've used a couple of magnets at the top, a chain and a couple of hinges. Now the hinges are not recessed, so the whole thing sticks out just a little bit. And why you're thinking have I done it? So it hinges down rather than sideways, and it's because over there this stereo will only hinge. Let me show you. Because the stereo is going to go up in the air as it opens, it's obviously not enough clearance to be able to turn side to side, so I decided to do it that way, and that is the reason. Now positioning those magnets and buying strong enough magnets, I'm not happy with it. Go over a few bumps as I've already done, and this just comes open. So I'm just going to put a different type of clip at the top. The doors are not 100% square at the moment, and I've got a horrible gap, which I don't like, so I need to find a way of covering that up. And I've also raised, the doors are actually now up a quarter, half an inch perhaps from where they were originally, so they're slightly higher at the top. But other than that, I haven't put a lid on this yet. It doesn't really matter. So the headlining is in place. Just needs a little slot put in there so I can get the fixing for the roof up. So it's all the original headlining. I did buy some new clips for this because they break off. Harrison Trim Supplies was the place I think I got them from. So I'm really happy with that. I filled the gap up here with some black carpet liner. And it is the original headlining. Now the 4 lights, they're on a dimmer switch, controlled over here. I will put the control panel on. Currently it's inside the cupboard. Let me show you that. So it's that style of dimmer switch, and I will get it mounted neatly, but I'm thinking of extending this down a little bit, having more stuff on it. So they're the lights positioned generally towards this end. I didn't want no one right up here because I'm bound to have a curtain across. There's no point having one right by the curtain, because the idea of the curtain is to keep light out and light from straying out in some places where I'm parked. And again, I didn't need them right down the end there. I've got various other lights, reading lights, spotlights, underlights, strip lights, all sorts of different things to go in. But these 4, all in the main cooking and usage area, and they are on the dimmer switch, which is hard to show, but they're all on a dimmer switch. Tell you where I saw this. Country Van Life TV, Stephen. One of these, great little things. Look really smart as well, especially with my colour scheme. Doesn't give it a massive amount, but that's good enough for me. This is the first unit I've built. It's not finished yet. It's just measuring up because I'm going to put little end panels on here and here, and it's not fixed to the wall yet. And the reason for that is because not all these panels are fixed down and the undersides are not done there. So that's just sat there at the moment. That red tape is a marker of where that bottom piece of wood should be. Now either end we use self-joining screws because I can go into the pillars, or where there's a slightly thicker bit there, without risking going through the bodywork, and the same the other end. In the middle it'll just be fixed with simple fixings into the ply lining this side of the insulation. So the whole thing at the moment will come out. So I'm just going to make up these little end panels just to tidy it up a little bit, and this one will help keep this in when it's in place up there. Okay, just these end pieces, just to hide away the screws. There's some black screws in there, but you can hardly notice them. Holds this bar in. Again, that end protruded slightly more than I wanted. This one's only a fractional protrusion, which is what I wanted. This one's come a little bit too high, but nevertheless, it's there. I'm happy with that. So I've had a washout day this week, a bit part day, and I've had a full day today, so going okay is the unit so far. I will have a carpeted strip down the edge there, and it will have a fascia on this, but with cutouts, so it'll just be attached there. I've just added some of this like carpet, but I wasn't going to order some carpet. It was something I had from IKEA in the bottom of a drawer. That's what I've taken off it. Cut a bits out. Only wanted the 2. Just gives it a smoother surface. So I've got a light here. That's my spotlight for reading and whatever. I've got a couple of USB ports there, but that's because I put a hole in the wrong place when I was putting that up, which is the isolator for all the power in this corner. Then I've got a series of switches that operate red lights, white light down below, red light down below. So just depending on what I want. Also the CCTV camera up on the top, which I'll have little cameras all around the van. At some point I'll need to retake the roof rails off to do that. So I'll do that when I fit the solar panels, because I'll also have to take this back off, the ceiling back off. So that's that mounted, that's that part. Let me go around the other side. Okay, so it looks a mess. It is a mess. The back of that unit, this one is going to be enclosed. All the electrics in there. And these 2 will be for various storage. And this is temporary there. It will fit in neatly. And then I will bolt it through. I'll probably use riv nuts or something to attach that, so I don't have to have this all the way to the ground. But that's been there for working on it. So what have I got here? There's the back of those switches, which are great. I've got a little USB hub thing. These are much better than those 2-port things like these, but just with 2 ports in them, because there's so many things in a van to charge. And then there's various things, phones, Kindles, all sorts of stuff, even a torch. So I feed those through that little hole there. I'll probably put a rubber gland over it at some point and tidy it up. And they're organised neatly into that for the moment. And that's where I'll put stuff when I want to charge it. And that's plugged in here. And I think I've switched that as well. That is up on a switch so that I can turn the whole thing off. It does have a display on the back, but I'm not bothered about reading how many amps that uses. I need to change my fuses as well. I've got a 10 amp fuse in there for that LED spot, which is only 3 times 1 watt, so I need to lower that a little bit and check all the others, but they're just in there to get it operating. This is for the CCTV camera. It's not currently connected, but I could put that in, but there's no point yet until I've got all the cameras in place. But the wiring's in. There's a spare port there. I've got a purpose for that, can't remember what. Probably need another one in there of those. So that's what I've been doing. This unit's still not fixed to the wall over here. I did try magnets, great idea, but they didn't work. Every time whenever a bump or thing, they came apart. It's quite a bit of weight here, and although I tried to get 10k ones, they just kept coming apart, so I just went with these sash window type things and put them on. And although they look a little bit tatty, they do the job. It's got to be a compromise. It's a hand-built fan. When you look up close, it's rough around the edges, you know. Look at this. Now I've got a gap there because of the hinges, so I will adjust that at some point. I will just put some carpet on that wood in there so it doesn't show up so bad. So that's what I've been working on. It has been taking me a long time, but it's getting there, doing all the electrics bit by bit, assessing it, planning it, etc. But I'm cracking on now, and yeah. I'm going to install this dimmer switch into the side panel at the end of the unit, down there on the back of that speaker panel. So that's going to go in there like that. The cutout's a real pain in the arse. Now the fascia comes off, and then there's 2 little screws that go through. So it means the bit that I've got to cut out is this inner piece here, and leave that bit intact either side, so that I can fix the screws through. And then as long as I leave that bit there and that bit there, and don't come outside the outside square, it'll be absolutely fine. I managed to cut out the hole I needed and a hole out of my finger. There we go, it fits in there nicely. I'm not sure if it's the Vegvisor symbol that's crooked or the speaker unit. Probably both. There we go, there's the speaker unit in full, and it does sound amazing watching the telly through those speakers. I will put the unit in there tomorrow. I will get carpet under the bed tomorrow. Let's just have a quick look round. CCTV is working, but I've only got one camera installed. I need to get all my cameras installed on that. Fans up there. Various switches. I've got a red light system and a white light system. Same for the bottom box. The lights up there provide plenty of light, but far too much light. I'm just using it now for the camera. This mattress is only a temporary version until I get the other one stitched up after I cut it ages ago. Got to tidy up the edge here, so that's just tidied off. This bit down here I'll actually use storage. It's got a large space. I've got a couple of large books that can go in there. So I need to get the back doors carpeted and then insulate those top panels. Put some thick wood in there, get the trim back on. I'm actually going to have some sort of storage box on that door as well. Once the spring's here fully, that'll be ideal to get that window cut out and installed. Probably going to have one with a little opening. That's a job that's coming up very soon. It's fitting that door store, and also this whole kitchen unit corner here will get done. Couple of storage areas down the bottom there. That's the electrical storage area there. Although there's a camera at the top there, it's not going to stay there. This area behind on top here will be on top of the whole unit will be another storage area. I need to put another side on there so I can put various items of clothing in or whatever. So that camera is just there for testing, and there it is on the screen. Looks a lot better. It's hard to pick up through the phone. Those lights appear totally red to me, and on the camera they're coming up a whitish red. And that's giving me a kind of a black and white image on the monitor, but it's very hard to get a good picture on this camera. CCTV, all the cameras are on one switch and the monitors on another, so at night they will go off, and though it's got a little remote control and buttons on the front, at night they will go off, and I'll only turn them on when or if I need to. Apologies that this video has been all over the place, lots of little bits from here and there. I've got another video coming in about a week's time that will go over a few little things and show you things much clearer than this one did, and it'll be a lot shorter than this one. Anyway guys, as always, I really appreciate it. Thanks for watching.